What's up, guys? So in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about drop servicing blueprint by Dylan Sigley. So drop servicing. So don't get this confused with drop shipping or anything that has to do with e-commerce or anything like that. It is not that whatsoever. It's essentially arbitrage for like digital marketing services, basically virtual assistant services. So what Dylan will teach you is you go on to like Fiverr, Upwork, these different platforms, and if it's like logo design or any kind of like virtual service, right? He'll have like an agency that he runs where he's getting those services done for people, almost like a digital contracting service, right? So in theory, I think it's actually like a pretty decent business model, but where I think it kind of misses the mark for me is that you are going to have to constantly chase clients, which is something I'm not a fan of. Like, I want something a bit more like passive and recurring, which I'll get into later. But basically, it's like, with logo creation, with website design, app building, or whatever, it's not a recurring thing. You have to constantly land new clients to get money in the door and all this stuff. On top of that, the issue is that whoever is going to go to you for the service, they're expecting you to do the work, especially on these like platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, and whatever else online platforms there are that he'll teach you to go on. People expect you yourself to do the work. That's what they're paying you for. They're not paying you to just hand it off to some VA in the Philippines to do the work for a fraction of the cost while you just sit back and collect the extra money. So while the business model is a good idea in theory, in practice, I don't think it's working all that well from an ethics standpoint, because I think a lot of people, if they found out about it, would be pretty pissed off, especially when the quality of work is poor. See, and I don't have anything against these people. It's just when you're outsourcing labor overseas and you're paying so low for something to get done, the quality is just not going to match. Well, actually, I mean, the quality is going to match whatever you're paying them. So let's say you're charging a client $2,000 to build a website for them. You're paying a VA $200 to build a website. You're going to get $200 worth of quality, and your client's probably going to it's probably going to be pissed off, right? So you're going to run into a lot of issues that way. I just don't really want to run into those issues. I'm sure you probably wouldn't want to run into those issues either. So what I actually do to not run into those issues and to do all the work myself is I do this business model called local lead generation. So basically what I did was 5 years ago, I built this website and I ranked it to the top of Google like this. And I've been there ever since. It took me 6 to 8 weeks to get here, just through some basic website building and SEO practices. And why this is important, why this number one spot's important, is because whenever anybody searches Noblesville tree service or emergency tree removal in Noblesville or pruning Noblesville, whatever, I show up first. They go to this website and they click this phone number right here, and they say, to the contractor I work with, hey, I need this tree removed because there was a storm and this tree crashed into my house. He takes the job and he gets paid for it, right? Well, because I send him so many jobs, he pays me what's called a finder's fee. This is super common in the contracting space. Like any kind of service-based business, they know what a finder's fee is. It's super common. So sites like these are generally worth $500 to $2,000 a month, and the overhead is extremely low. So what do I mean by that? Well, $10 a year is what I pay for that domain name just to keep it under my ownership. $15 a month for my tracking phone number so that I can, send him extra calls that he might miss or whatever. And then $15 a month for hosting. So obviously the profit margin is really high. It does take time. That's why a lot of people don't really do this business model. But that's also why I like it, because it's passive. It does take time. It doesn't happen overnight. But if you build out 5 to 10 of these things over the course of, say, 5 years, if you want to go really slow like me, you have some cushion money coming in, something that can supplement your 9 to 5 job, just like I have. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and check out this link right here. I'll have it listed for you down in the description below. But basically, it answers every single question you could possibly have about this business model and how I made it work for me. You'll also see, how much it costs, refund policy, all that jazz, super upfront. Also, if you guys want to see a bit more of an in-depth review on Drop Servicing Blueprint by Dylan Sigley, go ahead, check out my Patreon over here. I'll go ahead and link it down in the description below as well. But basically over there, I'm going to cover a lot more in-depth types of reviews where I have a bit more unfiltered thoughts coming out. So if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give me a like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.